there are certain individuals with an attitude. I'm not one of them. I'm going to be presenting an Australian payslip and an Ireland payslip. Making a decision to come overseas is not an easy decision. You might find yourself having a difficulty in deciding on which country you want to go to. Or you might decide, I want to go to the United Kingdom, and then from the United Kingdom, I'll proceed and go to Australia. Simply using the United Kingdom as a stepping stone to achieving your dreams. So this video is by request. Quite a number of people asked me to do a video on becoming a nurse in the Republic of Ireland and also becoming a nurse in Australia. I said I will gladly do these videos because I have personally tried to go to both places. So today we are going to be talking about how you can become a nurse in Ireland and how you can become a nurse in Australia. We are also going to talk about the salary scales of Australia and Ireland, which are similar. For the returning subscribers, thank you so much guys for the love and support. As I'm recording this video, we have reached 3,060 subscribers and I'm really grateful for your love. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Pauline Popomoyo and this is the channel where we keep things real. Kindly like and subscribe to my videos. You will not regret it. For now, let's get into it.
Alright, they asking for the queen. I'm a bad bitch, she's a savage. Look back while I turn. No comparison. I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet, yeah. Sassy, moody, nasty, yeah. Acting stupid, what was happening?
In the videos that I did a couple of weeks ago, I indicated that at some point in time, I wanted to go to the United States of America. So I'm going to tell you a brief history about my journey to the overseas, and then I'll get into the process of becoming a nurse in Australia and the process of becoming a nurse in Ireland. This serves to show you how difficult it is to make a decision on which country to go to. This is me in November 2015 inquiring about going to work as a nurse in Ireland because this is the place that I had chosen to go to at the time. Then I suddenly changed my mind and decided I wanted to go to Australia. So I did a diploma in child health with the University of Sydney, Australia, with the intention of going to work as a pediatric nurse in Australia. And this diploma took me 2 years to do. And then after having studied this diploma, I suddenly decided I want to go to USA. That was in March 2017. And then August 2017, I said, no, I want to go to Australia again and inquired more information about going to Australia. And then decided again that I want to come to United Kingdom and remembered that my father had seen that this child is so confused and he had made an inquiry for me in 2016. He is the one who contacted Melinda. As you can see, dear Melinda, blah, blah, blah. I do have a daughter who is looking for a position in the UK because he had seen that this child is very confused. And he had inquired for me in 2016, which means I could have done the process of coming to UK back then. So this shows how confusing it is. So guys, what you have to notice that if you want to become a nurse in Australia, the minimum entry requirement is a degree. And they require at least 450 hours of nursing experience in the last 5 years. And they require at least 450 hours of nursing experience in the past 5 years. So if you like, you might say they need at least 5 years experience. Prior to March 2020, for one to become a nurse in Australia, you had to register yourself with a university in Australia and do a bridging course. However, as of March 2020, Australia implemented some new changes. Now there is what is termed an outcome-based assessment exam. The outcome-based assessment is made up of 2 examinations. There is a multiple choice examination known as the NCLEX, and then there's the OSCE examination, which is the objective structured clinical examination where you be assessed, for example, on clinical procedures. There are 4 steps that you have to go through before registering with the Board of Nursing in Australia. And these 4 steps are online self-check, orientation part 1, portfolio update, and then the objective structured assessment. So I'm going to be taking you through these steps. So I'll leave the link for the online self-check in the description box of my video. So you go online, you fill in all the required information, your qualification, your years of experience, so that they assess which stream to put you into. Why am I saying which stream to put you into is because there are 3 streams. There is stream A, there is stream B, and there is stream C. If you are in stream A, it means that you hold a qualification considered to be substantially equivalent or based on similar competences to an approved qualification, that is an Australian qualification. And then if you are in stream B, you hold a qualification which is relevant to the profession but is substantially not equivalent nor based on similar competencies to an approved qualification. Most overseas nurses usually fall into stream B. Then if you are graded as stream C, you hold a qualification that is substantially not equivalent or relevant to an approved qualification. So I'm going to be talking about the process of nurses who fall into stream B. So if you have been graded and, for example, put in stream B, you'll be advised to proceed to the next step, which is the orientation part 1, and you are required to pay 650 Australian dollars. Orientation part 1 is an online learning program, and you are given 90 days to finish this program. So what this program is basically about is about nursing in Australia and the healthcare system of Australia and their expectations and so forth and so on. Once you are done with this program, that's when you move on to the next step, which is known as the portfolio update. This is when you are going to upload all your qualifications, and your qualifications, they need to be certified and notarized. If you go to the AHPRA website, it's not all certifications which are approved, so you have to go to their website to see which certification is approved, and your certificates have to be notarized, because if your certificates don't meet their standards, they will not accept your documents. The Nursing and Midwifery Board will assess your qualifications, and then they will give you an outcome. So if they are satisfied with the documents that you presented to them, they now give you a permission to sit for the NCLEX. So they normally give you what they term an ATT, authority to test. Then you can go and sit for your NCLEX examination. And the NCLEX examination is $350 US. So you can look for a Pearson VUE test center in your country, then go and sit for the examination if there is one in your country. If you pass your NCLEX, then you proceed to the next step where you are given permission to sit for your OSCE examination, which is a practical exam, and it's usually done in Adelaide, which is a city in Australia. So this exam assesses your skills and knowledge and your ability to apply theory into practice, and the cost of this exam is 4,000 Australian dollars. If you pass this examination, then you are given the permission to register and practice as a nurse in Australia. Most of the time, people who are, for example, in UK, they usually get a visitor's visa to Australia, go and sit for the exam, come back to UK, look for employment, then go back to Australia. So the registration process for Australia is quite expensive. You know that people come from countries where they only have diploma in nursing and they don't have a degree which is required in Australia. When they come to UK, there is a top-up degree which they do. Most of the people do it with the University of Derby. They just top up from the diploma and they have a degree. Some do it over 1 year, some do it over 2 years. So if it is your dream to go and live and work in Australia, if you are coming to UK, as soon as you get to UK, make sure that you top up that diploma gain your 5 years experience, then you proceed to Australia. So when you're now registering with the APRA, the process takes 4 to 6 weeks, and that's when they are going to require your IELTS examination or OET. I'll give an example of IELTS examination, then you can convert it to OET exam. For IELTS examination, they need a band score of 7 in all areas. Listening, speaking, reading and writing, you're supposed to have a score of 7, nothing less. Now we are going to talk about the process of becoming a nurse in Ireland. And before we talk about becoming a nurse in Ireland, check down below, have you subscribed? If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are alerted when I upload any of my videos. And if there is any additional information on the process of becoming a nurse in Australia that I missed, comment down below so that you also help others. So now, the process of becoming a nurse in Ireland. The IELTS and OET scores required for Ireland are these ones. Okay, if you have passed your English test and you meet the requirement, you are going to start your registration process with the NMBI, which is the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland. The first step that you take, you apply for an overseas registration pack, which is €350. So once you get your pack, you're going to fill in the required details, because they'll give you the forms that you're supposed to fill in, and there are certain forms that you're supposed to take to certain departments. And they expect those departments, for example, if you're in Zimbabwe, they'll expect the Nurses Council of Zimbabwe to send them the verification directly, and it should not come straight from you, because if it comes from you, then they will not approve of your assessment. And after providing all the required evidence and all the documentation, you submit them to the NMBI for the assessment. And once they are done with their assessment, they are going to give you one of 4 outcomes. One, which is the full eligibility successful registration. Part 2, which is the outcome for most people, where you have to sit a subsequent practical examination known as the aptitude test, or alternatively you do a placement known as adaptation. So it will depend with which hospital you're going to. So one hospital may say take an aptitude test, and another hospital may say take an adaptation course, of which an adaptation course, most people have been failing in adaptation course. This course is only 6 weeks. You are given a registered nurse, more like a preceptor, who is going to be following you whilst they're doing every little thing, assessing your theoretical and practical competencies. This is very difficult because you're being watched like a hawk around the clock, having someone with you from the time you clock in, looking at how you present yourself, your attitude towards patient, how do you have compassion in practice, all those professional values in nursing, they'll be assessing them. And if you're being assessed for 6 weeks, there are certain individuals with an attitude. I'm not one of them. And if you have an attitude, a serious attitude problem, you will fail the examination, because if you have an attitude one way or the other, it will come out in the way you are communicating with people. And there are individuals who have failed the adaptation course because of their attitudes, not because of their incompetences, but because of their attitudes. And another thing, people always highlight that if you do not know anything, do not pretend that you know. You rather ask, I'm sorry, we do not have this machine in my country, please assist me, or please show me how it's used. If you take an aptitude test, which is a 2-day examination, and most people prefer the aptitude test, it is similar to here in UK, where you take CPT and then you go for your OSCE. So in Ireland, the theory test, which is like CPT, you answer your 150 questions over 3 hours. It could have changed, but the last I checked, it was 150 hours. Once you pass that examination, you will proceed to do your practical examinations, which are more like OSCE here in UK, where you are going to be given 14 stations, and in those stations you are assessed on your competencies, things like dressing, drug assessment, IV cannulation, health education, and things like that. So I did not mention the cost of the other examinations, because in Ireland there are some recruitment agencies which are willing to take you on board, and I'm going to leave some links in my description for some of the recruitment agencies. Last but not least, we are going to talk about the salary scales for Ireland and Australia. What I like about Ireland and Australia is that your years of experience are put into consideration. It's unlike here in UK, where when you come, even when you've spent 20 years as a nurse, you start as a band 5. So these are the salary scales and classifications for Australia and for Ireland. This is the practice salary scale for people who are in the Republic of Ireland. If you are a newly qualified nurse, for example, if you only have 1 year experience, you'll be starting from €30,609 per year. And if you have, for example, 10 years experience, you will start from €43,356 per year. So 10 years experience will mean a higher pay rate. As you can see, the maximum at the bottom there is after 17 years, where you will be at 49,711 per annum. Now let's look at Australia. So this is the salary scale for nurses in Western Australia as from October 2021. As you can see, if you are in level 1, for example, if you have just finished school and within your first year, you will be earning 69,697 Australian dollars per year. And if you are a senior nurse level 1, you'll be earning 111,085 per year. So if you want to work in Australia, your salary will be graded according to the number of years experience and the qualifications that you have as well. In my next week's video, I am going to be comparing the cost of living in Australia against the cost of living in Ireland, and I'm going to be presenting an Australian payslip and an Ireland payslip. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I will see you in my next video. I'm late for work. See you guys.